everyone, and welcome back to Noia Dev, the series that aims to prove that one developer can create a successful MMORPG. My name is Dane, and this week on Noia Dev, I have been busy. Last week's devlog wasn't really a devlog, it was a 1-hour dev stream. The problem is, YouTube doesn't really push live streams the way it does uploaded videos. I could create God's gift to the algorithm and it just wouldn't get as much exposure. So in this devlog, I'm going to go over the previous 4 weeks of development just to make sure it gets the coverage that it deserves. One of the first things that I did was fix the new player cutscene camera perspective. I had never altered the camera's positions to make the cutscene fit the new 3D perspective, and because of this, a few elements in the cutscene were absolutely broken. Altering the camera placement and rotating the actor sprites seems to have fixed this, and now the new player cutscene appears to be working properly again. Nice. While watching my wife play through the game, she met Gus, and Gus gave her a quest to prove herself by beating up some bears. Problem is, the player will never encounter a bear normally until they finish a super secret questline in the forest. Don't tell anybody. The starting is right here. Realizing that Gus is making this a bit more complicated than it needs to be, I decided to change the target of Gus's request from bears to the behemoth. The behemoth being a sub-boss of the beehive. This isn't an easier target to kill necessarily, but it is a lot more straightforward. Now, having proven that they have what it takes, Gus will continue his questline with the player. Speaking of new quests, I was able to get 2 new quest types working: timed quests and multi-location quests. The multi-location quest is simple. The player must walk through multiple checkpoint areas in a specified order, and the timed portion simply removes the quest from the player's journal if they are not able to complete it in the specified time frame. Put these 2 functions together and you get a time trial race. This first race is available by reading this sign outside of Tinsdale, and right now it's a simple repeatable quest so that players can test it as much as they want. Rewards for these time trial quests are still a work in progress. Moving on, I have added a few new dev features and optimizations to the game as well, one of which is to streamline server builds. It used to take me like an hour to click through all the different Unity menus, changing build types and compiling each different platform. Now I have a single button that I press and it drops a build for each platform into a separate folder. The compile time didn't change, but because there's no more downtime waiting for me to select the new build platforms and parameters, it cuts the total compile time for the server builds in half. Now, if only there was an easy way for me to push new builds to Itch.io, then this would be even easier. Oh look, Itch.io has an API. I should look into that. Moving on, a big optimization to the game in how interactable objects are refreshed. Whenever key information changes with the player, interactable objects need to check if they should be visible to the player or not. Like these spears in the underworld, once the player collects them, they need to disappear. Or these camping pieces around Rhonda. Each quest the player completes, her camp gains more stuff. All of those being interactable objects reacting to the player's quest data. Before, I had a giant list of every interactable object on a map, and anytime the player did something, the client would iterate through that entire list. This worked, but it's a little inefficient, and Rhonda's campfire doesn't need to update if the player is, say, across the entire map. So now, rather than forcing an update on every object in the map, objects add themselves to a list as the player gets close and remove themselves from said list as the player moves away. So now, when the objects are forced to check, it only goes through that small list of objects and not the entire map's list of objects. Much better. Another big feature that I am super excited about is the new bug report feature. Over the past few years, a lot of you have submitted bugs on the Noia Discord, and that is great, but I need to make this easier. Not everyone who plays Noia has any interest in joining the Discord, and I have to be okay with that. So I made it even easier to report a bug from in the game. In the settings menu, there is now a big red button for bug reports. Right now, it's pretty rudimentary. A description and a screenshot. That's it. I say rudimentary, but deconstructing a PNG into a byte stream and passing it to the server to be reconstructed in a separate thread to be written to the disk was interesting, to say the least. Remember that logging thread that I made a year ago to handle writing server logs to disk without lagging the server to death? It handles bug reports too! I tested this bug report feature on every single platform that I own, except Linux. I don't have a Linux box, and it worked flawlessly. It should even be able to handle you psychopaths with 4K monitors. Now you guys can submit bug reports directly to me without even bothering with the Discord. This makes everything a lot easier. My only holdup is that now nobody necessarily knows if a bug has been submitted before, so I have to handle deduplication issues. Don't worry about that. Submit your bug reports to your heart's content. Last but not least, I've added a stuck command. Sometimes you guys get yourselves into an area that you can't get out of, or I, move a map somewhere else without telling anyone. And now you have /stuck, or this skill stuck in the unarmed skill tree. Using the skill or the / command will teleport you to the nearest respawn location. 1 hour cooldown. Hopefully this solves any sort of pathfinding issues or secret map moves that I make in the future. And that's it for this week. I'm actually really proud of the bug report system that I got working. I didn't ever even think it was possible until I started researching ways to send images over the internet, and it's actually a very common process. But regardless, the Old Forest map is actually coming together very quickly. I am almost done with getting the attacks, the monster attacks, and the AI and everything worked into all of the creatures in that forest. And so I want to get that done as quickly as possible. After that, I think it's time to start looking at the desert and or the underground maps. All that being said, I gotta get back to work, so I'll see you next time. Bye.